Hi, welcome to Turn-Based Besties, a podcast where two grown adults with no free time talk about their favorite RPGs and sometimes console rumors. I'm Sam.
And I'm DJ, and we are besties that love to game and talk about rumors about gaming.
Right now, that's what this episode is. That's right.
That's what we're doing. Yeah,
But
we
before we
are.
get into that, we always catch up a little bit. What have you been up to?
I've been.
We just have the giggles today. There's
We have the
just giggles.
giggles. That was our third time trying to do the intro. We usually really nail it.
I don't think have we ever had to repeat it?
I don't actually think ever. So welcome to season 2, where we start to up the intro. That's great.
Multiple times in one episode.
Multiple times. Yeah. My mom just got back home. My mom came up to Seattle for the weekend. That's my news. That's
Well, that was fun. I'm sure it was great to see Joyce.
It was so good to see her. It's also why I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Because parents are, I think, slightly exhausting. I think you and I have talked about this too. I mean, a lot of us have talked about this. We're reaching that age where you're literally playing the parent because you literally are a parent, but
Truth.
where we start to manage our parents, not manage them, but they're starting to get to that age where you're like, hey, do you need help? Can I help you with that? Do you want me to grab that for you? Don't say words like that. That's not very nice.
I have no idea what you're talking about. My mom sometimes listens to this, so no, I'm just kidding. But no, totally get it. Totally understand.
Yeah.
But no,
So
that makes sense. So now you got had a fun time and now you have a little bit of a break.
now I've got a little bit of a break. I know we got up at 5 a.m. Seattle time, which was really fun, and I've been up since 5 a.m., which is much later for me because on Mondays I don't work until noon.
Oh,
So yeah,
that was for her flight.
that was her for her flight. Yeah, we drove her to SeaTac, and then I walked her in and helped get wheelchair accessibility stuff for her.
Nice. So kind. Such a good son.
What I loved about being a great son, just kidding. What I loved about this weekend with her, though, is that she became besties with Thor, our German Shepherd.
Really?
My mother, who notoriously dislikes all animals, was like petting him and saying, "Come here, sugar." And Thor
Oh.
Thor was just being so respectful of, an older person who uses a cane, and we thought maybe he might knock her down, and
Yeah, he didn't whap her with his tail and knock
he
her over.
he didn't. There were no, a German shepherd likes to use their mouth to say hello a lot, which can be kind of scary. And he was so respectful of her. In fact, like every morning he would run down and look at her and then like kind of like run around and like give her a chance to sit down. Yeah.
That's so nice.
It
So if I
was
walk in with a cane, he'll be nicer to me?
Oh, I don't think so. No, he's going to knock your ass down for sure when he sees you.
I'm waiting for it. Just waiting for it.
Yeah,
That'll
yeah.
that'll be good. Well, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, normal stuff in the day of the life of three kids. But
Woo.
what's that?
I said, "Woo." Yeah, like what do you do? Like how are your children? What are you doing now?
Oh, it's normal stuff. But there was a very funny occurrence on the way home with Jay from daycare. So normally I get pretty much nothing out of Jay when I ask about how his day was. It's just play Paw Patrol music. Okay, okay, great. We'll play the
Paw
Paw Patrol.
Patrol.
Well, the problem with their selections for a quick aside on music is a lot of times they want like the Paw Patrol theme, which is like 17 seconds. And then they just want it like and the trip is 12 minutes, 15 minutes back from daycare. So that does not work. You cannot listen to a 17-second song 35 times. But anyway, the math probably doesn't check out with that. But anyway, so there was one day a couple days back though that I asked Jay. I just said, as I do, how was your day? And
Mm-hmm.
Jay's response was amazing. And then
Oh,
I was ready for it. I was like, great, tell me about it. It was amazing. Emma was
amazing.
there,
Okay.
then she left,
Okay.
and that was everything.
Uh, oh.
And then he stopped. And I
Okay.
was like, oh, great, great, buddy. really good story, love it. And that was all I got. But I was
Great.
hoping for a little bit more, and that's all I
Amazing.
got. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Well, flair for the dramatics.
Oh yeah, but no, he's good though. And then we had some snow days and things like that. And and Taylor, my wife, went outside and they made a snow cat. They made a
I
snowman cat. We should send you the picture.
Please
They made
do.
a snow cat.
Tesla's precious. We don't have snow up here for snow cats to be made.
Yeah, you don't get to make snow cats, but some of us do.
We don't.
So
Oh
we'll
my
send a
gosh.
picture
The next time we catch up, we'll be in person. We won't
in
even be
person
recording it.
in like a little over 2 weeks.
I know. I'm super excited. Yeah, next episode won't be in person because we're just going to spend time together and not record an episode. But next time you guys hear us, we'll be catching up on our time together in Seattle, what we call
That's right. And
Seattle's,
we'll post something to the socials of a picture of us together to prove that we exist and
to
we
prove that we're
sometimes
real life human friends.
sometimes sometimes actually see each other.
Oh,
But anyway,
oh,
go
I
ahead.
have something. I have something also cool that just happened today,
Tell
and
me.
you haven't even heard. And it's about video games. I'm friends with a composer in Canada, and today they messaged me and they said, "Hey, I just got this poetry book, and the poetry is based on Chrono Trigger and Zelda and various other RPGs."
Cool.
And this composer is like, "I know that you're a gamer, and you're the first person I thought of. Can I set this?" He's like, "I'm thinking of setting this poetry to music, like a song cycle, and then you can sing it."
Cool.
So what a awesome intersection of video game podcast and opera singing career that could be happening later this year or 2026.
That is awesome. That's really cool.
How
I'm
cool!
I'm so excited for that. I've got to hear that.
Me too. No, I'm super stoked. It's awesome composer too. Like I've listened to some of his stuff before. I'm trying to get other ensembles in my life to do some of his works. Like really pretty music. So
And he's a gamer too, or why is he interested in these?
also a
Okay.
gamer. Yeah, also a
Oh,
gamer too.
so
He follows us on our socials,
as everyone should.
as
But
everyone should.
well, that's fantastic. I am very excited to hear that. So let me know about the progress over time
I
for
sure
that.
will.
Well, cool. So that leads us into the topic for today. We're talking about Switch 2 rumors, Switch 2 leaks, what's going to happen with the next Nintendo system. And I'll kind of run the show a little bit on what I've been finding because I am the resident Nintendo fanboy. Um, I'll take that crown over you, I guess, over the two out of the two of us.
You can. I'm
Um,
more of a PlayStation boy.
there you go. There you go. But anyway, so as we all might know, it's coming up. The next Nintendo system, which I think will be called the Switch 2, is should be coming out this year, which is great. So we're just going to chat a little bit about what people have been talking about and what's kind of more confirmed, what's more rumor, and then we're going to say what we hope for the system and games and all that jazz. So. What we know, or pretty well know, is I believe Nintendo has come out and said that it would be backwards compatible. So the games in your library, all of our massive Switch libraries that we've played some portion of, um, would be you'd be able to play them on the next Switch system, which is really good to know. So what might be some games though that we've played before or have that might run better on better hardware or anything like that? Anything you can think of?
I mean, I would love to play, or at least kind of boot up and see the Persona 5 Royal game, which I know is on Switch, but I would love
Yeah.
to see it on hardware that might be able to make it look even prettier. Obviously, I hope the new Persona 6 game, which probably isn't due out until 2026, I hope that
Yeah.
gets released on it. It'd be cool to see Star Ocean: The Divine Force, the most recent Star Ocean game, get ported to something that is handheld.
Nice. Yeah, that would be cool. I
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping to play. So I really, I think we talked about it in our games we were looking forward to, but Echoes of Wisdom, where you play as Zelda herself in a top-down Zelda game. I
Oh
was really
yeah.
excited to play that. But one of the biggest critiques I heard is that it just chugs. It just does not play well.
Oh.
Personally, I'm not somebody that notices that too much, but with all the other games that I have to play, that was enough for me to kind of hold off for the moment. But that would be one that if I could play on the next system with better hardware and it runs better, that I'd be excited to do that. Similarly, a lot of the kind of Muso type games, the Warrior games, some of the Fire Emblem ones, because we like our Fire Emblem games, but the
Yeah.
Fire Emblem Warrior ones, and there's some Zelda Warrior type games too. Those I hear also kind of just the number of enemies on screen, the number of attacks, it kind of has some trouble running those. So
Mhm.
that would be a fun thing. I think I could like that type of game. I've never really played one, but that was always a critique I heard is that they don't run that well. So I'd want to play that, and then just allow you to do other ports that maybe you never thought you'd be able to before, like maybe play Elden Ring, but play it in handheld. That'd be awesome with the Switch too. So anyway, other information that is more on the confirmed side or known is that
Mhm.
it's supposed to have the Joy-Con, so it'll have Joy-Con again, the
Good.
controllers on the side, but it's supposed to have kind of this magnetic attachment, so a more solid attachment. And at first, I wasn't, when I heard this a while ago, and I wasn't too sure what I thought of that, but more recently, I don't know about you, but I'm having more and more issues with the connection of my Switch Joy-Con. Not that maybe they feel a little bit unsteady, but
Mhm.
more that they seem to just shift a little and then that disconnects them and then it stops my game or my character stops moving and I just don't have a connection and then I have to reconnect, snap it back in, give it a second, and then keep playing. That happens almost every time I play a game now, I think, once, at least once.
That's so annoying. No, that doesn't. It doesn't happen to me yet. But you play Switch more than I do, so you have more wear on yours
Yeah,
than I
yeah,
do.
that might be it. So anyway, but I'd be excited that the attachment might be more hardy and stronger and might not have that issue. So that'd be
Hmm.
great. So let's get more along the lines of rumors past kind of magnetic attachment, backwards compatibility, being still kind of the Switch form factor with Joy-Cons and being more powerful. We kind of know all that's going to happen,
Hmm.
but there are some rumors and leaks. There's been pictures coming out that show what the people say is the next system. One of the things on these pictures is a new mysterious C button. So
You're
another
a C
button
button.
got me.
Yeah, I got you.
The on the I think it's the right Joy-Con. So it's one that does not exist on the current system, and people are wondering what does that thing do? Do you have any thoughts, DJ? Have you even thought about this, or did you know about this before?
I only knew because you told me. And when I think about C buttons on a Nintendo controller, I instantly go to the N64 controller.
Yeah, good point.
So I've not actually Googled what the image for the
It's
C button.
it's kind of, I believe it's kind of next to, like the capture. It's the capture's on the left one, but that kind of like the inside part of the Joy-Con. So it wouldn't be as much of like a functional
Oh
type
yeah,
button, right? Can you see a picture of it?
yeah, I see it
Yeah.
now.
You see it, but but some things that people have been um uh hypothesizing that this could do is some people say, is it C for communicate?
Hmm.
Does it help us interact with others through social media and like something like that, or just you know texting or messaging other people while playing, something
Oh,
like, some people bring that up.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know, maybe I don't really find that too compelling, and I don't know that I would want to do that. Most of the time with Nintendo, they don't, there's not a lot of like chat functionality, right? They don't want people getting on there and doing what internet trolls do when you're trying to play a kid friendly game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think that one's going to be it. Could it be capture? Are you doing more picture and video capture? And I think they've already kind of got that. I think you have the capture button and
Hmm.
you can hold it to do video. So I don't know that that helps us anymore. Cast is another one that I think is pretty compelling and kind of cool. So could you hit that button and then some people are saying maybe you don't have to put your Switch in the dock. Can you just hit the button and then cast to your TV without docking it?
Interesting. I feel like that would make it graphically look not as
Not
not
as good.
as good as if it were docked. So I don't know.
Maybe not. Yeah, but then it would be easier though. You could cast it to any screen quicker and not have to set it up as much. But
Yeah.
also, it might allow for that functionality of two screens. You could be playing on, could you have a map on your screen that you're holding, like the Switch that you're holding, and then you play the game on the TV itself, and then you could port, you
DS
know,
games.
DS games and other games that had two screens or Wii U games that utilize the other screen. So Makes some sense.
Maybe the DS, the handheld game that passed me up because I was not actively gaming at that time.
I feel like that would have been your thing. I feel like you would have had it in your pocket and just walked around and pulled it out and played it all the time.
I mean, absolutely, I would have. But I mean, but I don't know actually, because I was never a Game Boy person either.
Oh,
Yeah,
so maybe.
after the Super Nintendo, I was like, bye, and then I went to PlayStation basically.
I was gonna say, being a PlayStation fanboy, did you ever have any of their handhelds? Did you do any of their in the Vita and the
You know
PSP?
what? I have the PSP and I love it. I still have I mean, the game I played on PSP more than anything was Star Ocean 2 Second Evolution. So
Yeah.
the kind of remake-ish portish thing that was, really fun to have that. I think I played like a Final Fantasy on there also or something. It was great to
Okay.
have. The PSP has awesome RPGs, something to talk about at some point in the future.
Yeah, we maybe could. Okay, so you did like the handhelds, but just not the Nintendo handhelds.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
just never a Nintendo boy.
No, it's okay. That's my rule. So
Yeah.
don't take it. But kind of a random thought with the cast functionality that I thought of is, could you do, if they did want to lean into VR at all? A lot of, that seems more modern to do more VR stuff. Could you have a kind of headset that maybe had rounded lenses or something like that, and you could cast to that, so you didn't
Hmm.
have to just stick the switch into the screen like with Labo, but would there be some way to cast to a VR helmet or something like that? I don't know. And then connect. I think this one is also possible. So do you hit the button, and then does that allow you to locally connect to your friends who might be in the same room with you? Games that would lend themselves well to this is like Animal Crossing. I don't play Animal Crossing. I don't know if you do, but a lot of people like.
I don't either know.
I've never heard you talk about it. So if you did, that would be a secret you were keeping from me.
I'm a secret Animal Cross lover. That's me.
You secretly have 1,000 hours in Animal Crossing, and you've
Yeah.
never told me about it. But people want to visit the other person's island and what they've made. Could you just like be in the same room, boom, hit the button, and then you connect your systems, you jump right in, and you can explore, what they've done. Or if you're playing Mario Kart or some game or whatever, and you want to not have to get into a lobby and then find the people online, can you just hit that button and then be locally connected to them? I think that's cool. That sounds kind of Nintendo-y, right?
That
You can,
yeah, that sounds maybe like the coolest thing so far that the C button could be.
yeah. And that seems very Nintendo-like. They want people to be together,
Yeah.
playing their games, experiencing something together, and that enhances that for sure.
Yeah.
So I thought that one is kind of cool. Plus, if we're talking the dirty secret of they all, people want to sell more Switches, they want to make money. That's a cool function that would allow each person would have to have their own Switch to connect to each other. So it would maybe sell more systems. You wouldn't be able to play, to do those certain functionalities. You wouldn't play on one Switch with multiple controllers. You would play on multiple Switches together in the same room. So
Hmm.
I don't know, just a thought. And then the last one, I just gave it the name Cat because I thought it was funny with cat and mouse. But as we'll
So
talk about in
dumb.
a second, the mouse functionality, would it turn on maybe the mouse functionality of the Joy-Con? So that brings us to the next rumor, is that can the Joy-Con
Yeah.
function as a mouse now? Some of the pictures, or one of them, have shown what they think is like an optical sensor that you have at the bottom of a mouse.
What?
And yeah, so they're saying, would you be able to take it off, set it down, and hold it like a mouse and use it as a mouse? I
Huh.
think I'm kind of convinced this is going to happen. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. At first, it sounds
Okay.
kind of crazy, but then you think about it, you're like, okay, yeah, like you have a mouse, like you already take the thing off and it fits in your hand nicely. Why not move it around like a mouse? And think of how much how much functionality that adds to different games. You know, you have your PC gamers out there that talk about how much better it is to do mouse and keyboard, and you would be able to do Switch games with
With
some
the
mouse
mouse,
functionality.
but no keyboard then, so that might make it awkward.
Yeah, I don't know how they would do that. Would you use the other one and just try, or would they have some sort of external, keyboard that
I,
they would make you buy
this
to
wouldn't be the first time that a Nintendo console
keyboard existed?
had a mouse. I had the mouse for the Super Nintendo because I had Mario Paint on the Super
That's what
Nintendo.
people are saying. So you could do games like Mario Paint. You
Yeah.
could do shooters. Everybody likes to use that for
Mhm.
shooters, and they have Metroid Prime coming out and some other big shooters. Do you use a mouse? For me, I was thinking I remember how hard it was when they were porting Civilization 6 to the Switch, and they were like, how do you do controller functionality with that? So then if you have a mouse and keyboard, that would be better. So I think that's cool. I think it's interesting because it seems so forward thinking to be like, wow, you have a Switch and then you can, but a mouse is like the oldest piece of technology, but it feels modern. It's like taking an old piece of technology and using it in a new way, and that seems very Nintendo to me.
I don't know. I would love to play Mario Paint again. It's
Wouldn't that
not
be
an
cool?
RPG, but that'd be so much fun.
Wouldn't that be so cool? And so what else did I? Yeah, so any Baldur's Gate 3, right? Other games that people play on the PC more
Yeah.
often. You kind of click around. Like I think that's cool. Yeah, and you love your your, your first person shooters. But no, yeah, not really. But let's see. The next rumors were about kind of AI upscaling. So, it will be inevitably not as strong as the current systems, a PS5 or anything like that, but would they be able to use AI upscaling to give better resolutions while using a less powerful system? So,
Hmm.
so a lot of people think they'll be doing that, and I guess it's pretty likely from what I was hearing. A couple USB-C ports, so two different USB-C ports. I think on some of these
Oh.
pictures they show one in the front and one in the bottom. So currently, you have one in the bottom and you have to charge through it and whatever
Hmm.
else. But I think there's one on top. So people are asking, or based on the leaked pictures, whether
Sure.
they're true or real, who knows? But the question is, what is that for? So some people think, could you hook yourself up to another system, through the cords? Does it just make it easier to charge if it's running out of batteries so the cord isn't awkwardly underneath?
Hmm.
Does it help you attach to externals like we mentioned? Like, could you have some sort of keyboard external, like, and then you can attach to that? I don't know. But and just an interesting thought. If it is true, what the heck are we using that for?
Sure. I
Yeah,
hope not. My fear is that the Switch 2, if that's what it's going to be called, that's what we're calling it for right now.
yeah.
My fear is the Switch 2 might be trying to do too much.
Okay. Based on what we've been talking about now, or something
Yeah,
that you
just
felt before?
based on what we're
Yeah,
talking about now, especially, having a mouse and a potential keyboard, it's like its primary function is to be able to take it on the go.
good point. Good point. I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if they'll just get crafty with how you use the buttons in the joystick on your other hand, on your left hand, right?
Hmm.
And try to make all the buttons work like it was a keyboard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's
Um,
true.
I could see them do that. I think you're right. If they did everything here that we're talking about, then maybe that is too much. But I do think that another way, and in another way, it looks safe compared to a lot of times that they try to innovate so much, right? They try to do such a different thing on the next system that this one is safe in the sense that it's seemingly just a stronger Switch in a lot of ways, right? And
Yeah.
so that was a successful model, and so they're still going to have Joy-Con controllers that attach on the side, and it's a portable system that you can play on the go, but then you can also dock it and play it docked on a TV. So a lot of things are staying the same. So some people are arguing, is this too safe? Does it seem like they're not doing enough, especially when the market is now kind of saturated because of their success with a lot of other portable gaming setups. The Steam Deck, the ROG Ally, there's Lenovo has one. There's a lot of different things to do out there if you want to play games handheld and have better resolution and everything else like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's your take on that, DJ?
Change can be scary for some people. So I think if some people think it looks safe to me, I think that means they've made the appropriate amount of changes while still keeping a super successful item accessible. The cool thing about the Switch is that it is portable and you can dock it as well. You can technically dock the Steam Deck, but it looks horrible.
Yeah.
It does not look good. Whereas in handheld, Steam Deck looks, sorry to say, significantly better than the Switch. At
Oh,
least
I'm sure.
the first Switch right now. Maybe the Switch 2 will rival it. And I've never used the Lenovo.
Yeah, Lenovo makes one. I forget the name of it, and then the
Yeah,
ROG Ally, I think is maybe that is the Lenovo one. But so there's
I
a
don't.
few. There's a
There are a
few.
few. Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm okay with it being safe and with not having too many changes. I think that makes me happy and not nervous.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's kind of like what they're doing, I think, with the naming convention. So like that's one of the next things I wanted to mention is that Switch 2, I think, is almost for sure what they're going to call it. And that is what some people would say is a safer naming convention. So when they went from the Wii to the Wii U, that was a horrible transition. People didn't know what that was. Was it a new system? Was it just a different version of the same thing?
Is it a
And
university? Nobody
is
knows.
it a university? Yeah, exactly. And so that one flopped. I don't think that's the only reason it flopped, but I don't think the name helped. And so being Switch 2, uh, piggybacks on the success of the Switch and also just uses the naming convention that PlayStation has used, so many other systems have used, and people understand that, you know.
No one is upset that it's a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. And when
Yeah,
people
no,
are, when we finally get it, PlayStation 6, they're not going to call it something else. Watch
nobody's
them call it
nobody's
something
going to
else
say
now.
real original PlayStation.
Yeah, how dare you
Yeah.
just keep counting like sequels?
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. I think interestingly, I think the code name is Ounce, I believe I heard.
Hmm.
So I don't know why. You know how like I think the GameCube was like Dolphin, or there was always a code name
Yeah.
for them. And so this one I think is Ounce. So I don't know. Dolphin and GameCube don't have any relation, so I wouldn't be surprised if Ounce has no
And
relation.
Dolphin is the go-to emulator for GameCube now.
Oh, very good. But so let's see. I think we talk about kind of what features would we hope to have? Is there anything that you were hoping to have? Maybe something we've mentioned in the rumors, or maybe something different for the next Switch system?
I want a larger library of online games, especially for the Nintendo 64. In particular, and this just goes with me enjoying mostly trashy games, but I had a blast with Castlevania 64. Again, it was my first Castlevania, so I'm gonna have like nostalgia glasses for that one. I totally admit that. But I want some games like that to
Yeah.
come to the Switch. I'd love Resident Evil 2 to come to the online games because Resident Evil 2, the port to N64 is better than PlayStation.
Mm.
It
I
loads faster, it graphically looks a little bit better.
Okay. That's a good point. I think it's interesting. Yeah, I think they have so many games in their library that they could put there,
Hmm.
and more people would for sure buy like Switch Online or whatever. And
Hmm.
that's just it seems like the amount of work it would take to do that is rather low,
Yeah.
and it's just money waiting to, they could make more money. So it's odd sometimes their choices, but because
What
it
about
would be a
you?
win-win. It could be a win-win.
Yeah.
Uh,
What about you, man? What features do you want that you maybe haven't talked about yet?
Yeah, so in general, just more powerful because I want to be able to play more things. There's a number of times that they just don't even bring a game to the Switch, and then I have to be like, yeah, we talked about this a lot. It's easier for me with my lifestyle and setup to be playing something handheld,
Hmm.
and just sitting there after the kids are down or whatever and playing it like that. And so, if I could not have to find ways to play things on my computer or Xbox system and play more of the newer titles and the more powerful or titles that need more powerful hardware, that'd be fantastic. Let's see here. Yeah, better kind of UI, user interface, and folder setups and those kind of things, so you don't just have to look through a giant list of games for what you're playing. More streamlined eShop. It's kind of cluttered now.
You're
And then
right.
yeah. And then I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't play any VR stuff really,
I
but
don't
I'm kind of
either.
excited for some VR stuff. I think it lends itself well to VR with the Joy Cons. You would hold them, and then that would kind of be what's in your hands. And then either with a cast function, or they have a headset that you put the new Switch into, kind of like the Labo system was. I had that. I had the Labo VR thing, and it wasn't. I thought it was cool. It wasn't
Yeah.
fun. It wasn't the crazy. It wasn't the craziest thing. One of the games you could play was like an on-rail shooter with this cardboard gun thing that you had. It is the only game I've gotten my dad to play that he was so excited to play. I remember one time I said, "Hey, Dad, you want to go play this again?" And he looked over and he's like, Can we?" Like he was so excited to go play it again because you were shooting like these giant paint grenades at these little character guys, and on an on-rail shooter, and he was having so much fun. He was he was sitting on a swivel chair and swiveling around, and it was great. So anyway, I think it brings fun. It involves other people that would never play a game otherwise, like my father. I think doing some cool VR stuff. Not everything, like every game doesn't have to be VR because no people just want to sit there and hold a controller and play a game also.
Yeah,
But having some cool VR experiences would be fun.
I think so.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on there with kind of what I would want and VR being part of it. But so let's talk about the games, the things that we really want to see on this next system. I would say that there's a lot of games that maybe don't fit into the niche of games that we normally talk about, like RPGs and whatever, but
Yeah,
they tend to be the big titles that are release titles for Nintendo or make sense to be coming out soon. That
yeah.
would be kind of like the next 3D Mario, kind of like that's probably gonna happen. Some people have talked about a remaster of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. That was huge. So if they can
Ooh,
play that,
that's an RPG, so that would work.
it's okay. So they and on like 4K or something, can it do that? That'd be cool. I love that game, and
Yeah.
if it was 4K, I would love to jump into it again. Mario Kart 9. So this one for surely will be on the next system. So Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is like the best-selling Nintendo game ever or something. It's
Hmm.
like 70 million games that have sold. It's just ridiculous. Animal Crossing probably would be a system seller. I think that's the second highest seller with like 40 some or 50 million or something like that. So these are ones that'll probably launch. Whether we'll play them, I don't know. But yeah.
I don't know. The original Switch only had, because of the Wii U being such a flop,
Hmm.
the original Switch only had, I think, 10 games at launch, which that's not a lot of games. This is according to a recent video by IGN
Oh, okay.
that, yeah, this people were being really cautious because of the big flop of the Wii U. They were feeling betrayed by the low sales. But then the Switch went on to be the third most sold console ever. And
Ooh.
you did a check of that, I think. By this past summer, it sold almost 144 million units.
It's nuts. And I want to say the Wii U was like 30 million or something like that only.
Oh, that's
And this one's our
depressing.
it's depressing. Yeah. So this is huge. This one is just the Switch at 143. So I agree. Yeah. I think it's a good point that they're with the popularity of the Switch, they're bound to have so many launch titles. And let's think about it. Like the last 2 years, kind of Switch games have almost always been let's port Thousand Year Door or remake Thousand Year Door. Let's
Yep.
remake this. Like it's not the big titles. So I think they're holding those and they're probably still working on them. It's like, yeah, so they're waiting on um the next thing. So yeah, and so kind of like the new games, what could be some new ones that would come? And so along those same lines, probably the next Fire Emblem. That'll be a
Mm-hmm.
game we play.
Yep.
They're bound to be making another one. And what's the next one going to be? But it's going to come to this system. I bet you it's going to be more along the lines of Three Houses rather than Engage because I feel like Three Houses was better received.
I would
That'll
agree.
be exciting for us because we both loved Three Houses. I think it's more up your alley than Engage was,
Yeah.
so that'll be fun. I think they're gonna make another. This is maybe wishful thinking. Octopath 3,
Oh,
Octopath Traveler
totally.
3.
Oh,
So we're
totally. They
we're
will.
several years out from that, so that one maybe. Platinum Games makes some good games like Bayonetta, and then they made a game called Astral Chain that I bet you there could be a sequel to. I thought it was a really cool game. The
Mm-hmm.
Bravely series is probably due for another one coming out. That would be something that we would play. That's right up our alley. So maybe Bravely Default 3.
Bravely Default 3. The
Um,
new Trails game is gonna come. The new Trails remake
oh
of
yeah, yeah,
Trails
yeah.
in the Sky, the first. That's got to be on the new Switch. It's gonna be on the old Switch as well, but it's got to be on the new one.
It's got to be. Yeah, there's so many games. There's got to be so many games they're just waiting to flood us with for this new system. And let's bring back some ones that people wish they could play on a Switch and
Mm-hmm.
some ports. So we've always talked about Baldur's Gate 3. I
Mm-hmm.
think the other two, 1 and 2, are already on Switch, but let's get some better hardware and maybe they can do Baldur's Gate 3. I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned before Elden Ring. That seems like fun to play handheld on a Switch.
Yup. Final
Yeah.
Fantasy VII remake.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for
The
sure.
the first two that are out right now. Obviously, I think probably the third one when it finally comes out would also be on Switch too. That'd be really cool to see.
That'd be awesome. There's so many ports that we would like to play, and like I mentioned, there's so many ports I want to play that are kind of in our wheelhouse of RPGs. We just need to kind of be able to play them because they can't play them, and we need to be able to better port them with better hardware. Or do we remaster some old ones?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do remaster some old ones. You and I have talked about Final Fantasy Tactics. I mean, not just the two of us, the internet for the
It's got to
past
be
15
coming.
years has been talking about Final Fantasy
It's got to
Tactics
be coming.
remake.
I would be shocked if Tactics is not on a remaster coming up
Literally
on Switch 2.
same. And I think Chrono Trigger is also going to get a remaster because as beloved as as Lunar Silver Star and Lunar Eternal Blue are getting a remaster, as I love them so much and as the internet loves Lunar, the people who aren't even gamers love the original Chrono Trigger. So
Yeah.
if Lunar is getting a double remaster of especially of the sequel, which is the better of the two, Chrono Trigger's got to be getting a remaster, and that's going to be so amazing to play.
That would be all. Yeah, that's one that I feel like a little embarrassed that I haven't played. That
That's
we
okay.
have a podcast where we primarily talk about RPGs, and I've not played Chrono Trigger. Um, it
Okay.
feels like a problem there. So
It's so short, Sam. I know we joke about us taking different times to play games, but I think most people say it's about 16 to 20 hours, which is incredibly short for a SquareSoft RPG on the Super Nintendo.
okay, I mean with Beyond Galaxyland that we're playing, you said it was 17 hours, and like I said, I have 139
Shut
hours
up.
playing it.
No, you do not. From idling.
It's idling. Yeah, that's false. But okay. But okay, I'm gonna take a big swing here because
Okay.
this is fun. And this is the thought I had the other day, and I'm like, it just makes so much sense. In my head,
Okay.
it made so much sense. Not an RPG, but let's just go outside of RPGs for a second because we're just talking Switch 2 and rumors and fun things. I was saying I want some VR, maybe. That'd be fun. They had zero Star Fox games, or they didn't have a new Star Fox game forever, and that's a big IP for Nintendo. And they didn't have anything on the Switch at all, I don't think. So I think it'd be awesome if they lean into the VR. What lends itself better to on-rail shooter like Star Fox has been than some VR? That would be so much fun. You have an awesome new Star Fox game that uses whatever VR functionality the next Switch has, and it gives you an on-rail shooter experience, at least for part of it. Maybe not all of it, but some of it you can do that. I think that sounds cool.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I tried out the Meta VR over the break,
Oh yeah, was it fun?
and yeah, it was really fun. My friends got it, and I played Fruit Ninja, which is a game I played on my phone like 12 years ago, and it was real cute.
Wait, that's the kind of thing you can do on Meta's VR. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I'm sure
Was it
there
fun?
are. I'm sure there are more things you can do, but they just had Fruit Ninja, and I was like,
Wasn't
this.
Meta's VR the thing that people didn't have legs for a while in the metaverse or whatever? Do people have legs now?
I I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, maybe I'm mixing things up here. But either way, all right. So there's a lot to be excited about, right? I
Yeah,
think I think that's kind of the theme here is that there's so much excitement for people that are Nintendo fanboys like myself and maybe those that aren't. There's a lot to be excited for. What could Nintendo bring in this next generation?
what will they
Overall,
bring, and when
what
will it
could
be announced?
I have heard literally Thursday of this week.
Wait, what? Oh, okay. Well, then today's
We
Monday,
need
so
to
we need to
post this
release the.
tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll release the episode tomorrow. Oh, when you hear this, well, when you hear this, it'll be released. Maybe. Oh God. Okay,
I know,
so
I've literally heard Thursday now. Okay, I don't, that's not from official Nintendo, whatever, but I think
okay.
it's very possible, like in the next week or two.
Well, we need to release this episode anyway because we have big news coming up anyway. So
It'd be hilarious if either they announce it. So it could go two ways. If they announce it and we got nothing right and nothing we talk about is relevant, then we'll just have to destroy this episode and just never post it.
great.
Or we get everything right and then we're the talk of the town.
We will absolutely, with our 100 listeners, we will be the talk of the gaming industry.
There you go. Exactly right. That's my thoughts exactly. But anyway, so maybe releasing this week or being announced this week. Things we know again, it's probably going to be more powerful. It still has the Switch functionality. It's got the magnetic Joy-Cons there and backwards compatible so you can play all your games in the next system, which is all fantastic. Then cool features. We talked about what are we excited about? What could there be a mouse functionality? What do we think that C button does? Does it let you connect to your friends? Does it let you cast to the TV? All some cool things there. And then what titles might we see? I think there's some obvious launch titles, and then I think we are due for so many of the games that we would be looking forward to, like the next Fire Emblem, maybe another Octopath Traveler, the next Bravely Default, maybe the like you said, the Trails games, Lunar Remastered Collection. Could they do FF7 remake? So many cool things that could happen that are right up our alley. So yeah, just very exciting times in for the Switch 2.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Exciting. What are you what are you playing right now?
Well, I from what you're telling me, I guess I'm right at the close to the tail end when we were chatting before this started of Beyond Galaxyland, a great
Yeah.
little RPG that we're going to do some episodes on next.
Yeah.
So gonna finish that one. I always need to keep jumping back into Metaphor to finish that story. It's a long one, but definitely will do that. And then I will be kind of at home after a small, simple procedure in a week or two, and at some point we're going to be playing Metal Slug Tactics, and I hear
Mm-hmm.
that that one's only like 7 to 15 hours or something like that. So
Yeah.
I might try to finish that over a couple days if possible while I'm kind of laying around. So I thought
That's
that'd be a fun one to maybe knock out.
that's a smart
How?
idea.
Yeah, yeah. So how about you? What are you playing?
That's what I did too. I didn't play Metal Slug Tactics yet, but I knocked out a fairly short game last week that we're set to cover around the summertime actually. Looking through the list of games that we've not announced yet because it's just the beginning of season two, but the games that we have announced through I think July, all are about 6 to 15 hour games, which is kind of exciting because I like bite-sized games every once in a while.
It works well with my life and schedule. If you can
Same.
do it.
Same. So the game I played and beat last week was Cricket J's Really Peculiar Adventure, and it was really heartwarming. It
Really?
had Mother 3 vibes.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. I'm
I
excited to get into that.
I'm excited when I hear that.
Yeah, and I just this morning I've had downloaded emulating on my Steam Deck Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, which is a JRPG or RPG rather,
Really?
which adopts the Final Fantasy X's battle like turn-based system. Exactly, like people call it Final Fantasy X, but in the flavor of Lord of the Rings.
Final Fantasy
And
X.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I played like an hour of it this morning because I was up from bringing my mom to the airport, and it's fun. And I hear it's like another like 15 to 20 hour bite-sized RPG, so I'll probably play it out. I'll probably finish it.
Wow. Okay. So it's basically as long as one of the movies.
Yeah, just one of them.
But sorry. Bad joke.
Wow.
Bad joke. Wow.
Wow. So yeah, it sounds like you and I are both kind of just playing some kind of bite-sized games right now.
Yeah, I mean, I like the bite-sized ones, and then every once in a while we jump into the 90-hour games.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are fun, and I love them, or I wouldn't spend 90 hours on them. But then, yeah, you need a palate cleanser with some shorter games.
Sometimes you need a lot of palate cleansers.
Well,
Hey,
tell them where they can find us out there in the social medias.
in that social media world, y'all can find us at Turn-Based Besties on Instagram. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. Now also on YouTube because Sam makes some amazing YouTube shorts and Instagram Reels are the same thing. You can
Yeah.
go to our socials. Let us know if you have thoughts about the Switch 2, features you hope that it might have, or games that you hope to see. You can email us comments or questions at turnbasedbesties@gmail.com. We will be back in the next couple of episodes. I don't want to give too much away to cover Beyond Galaxyland. It might take 2 episodes. Look to our socials later this week to find out exactly what I mean by that.
Oh,
Big
so
giant.
mysterious.
So mysterious, I know. Big, awesome, giant thanks to everyone who is following us on social media. As I said in our last episode, we have over 100 folks following us on Instagram, and now we also have a subreddit. It's the Turn-Based Besties Pod on Reddit. Come join our community and, I don't know, make a really cool little topic in our subreddit. It'd be really cool to respond to folks in
That'd be fun.
kind of
Yeah.
in real time-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on an adventure in Reddit, go on an adventure with Instagram, going on an adventure with my bestie here, Samuel, at Turn-Based Besties.
That's right. So as we say, when everything in the world points right, maybe go left and see what you find. I'm Sam.
And I'm DJ, and this has been another episode of Turn-Based Besties. Bye!
Bye.